Hello, and welcome to DevThoughts 31. I hope you enjoyed that short introduction to one of the brand new survivors debuting in Risk of Rain Returns. Now let's take a closer look at Drifter and her abilities. Drifter is a resourceful brawler who got more than she bargained for when she stowed away on the ill-fated Contact Light. Luckily, she has some unique skills to not only handle the dangerous inhabitants of Petrichor 5, but she also has some powerful tools to empower herself and her fellow survivors. Key to Drifter's power is her ability to utilise scrap generated by her primary ability, Blunt Force. This may appear as useless rubbish to other survivors, but to Drifter it's a valuable resource. Blunt Force is a 3-hit combo melee attack that hits enemies in a wide area. Each successful hit generates lumps of scrap which litter the floor near Drifter. Gather these quickly to fuel your more powerful abilities. Blunt Force isn't the only way to generate scrap. Drifter's utility ability, Suffocate, also fills your meter without having to collect scrap from the environment. This large melee strike stuns and does 200% damage. Any enemy below 20% health when attacked with Suffocate is immediately consumed and converted into scrap. Once you have gathered enough scrap, you have everything you need to fuel Drifter's other two abilities, including her secondary attack, Cleanup. This ability tosses out some of your scrap as piercing projectiles in a short-range burst. Imagine a trash-powered shotgun that makes mincemeat of even the toughest enemies. Finally, her special ability makes her a true powerhouse on the battlefield, not only to herself but to her allies as well. When your scrap meter is 75% full, you gain access to Salvage. Salvage allows Drifter to generate 4 temporary items. These can be collected by any player, making her the survivor with the strongest support abilities in Risk of Rain. Have your teammates not been as fortunate as you when rolling the dice at Chant Shrines? Create some temporary items to share among your team before facing the tough challenges that await you. Of course, there's nothing stopping you from just taking all the items for yourself and becoming the most powerful survivor on the planet. Key to success as Drifter is to keep churning out temporary items as quickly as you can. They only last a short time in your inventory, so continuing to replace them as they expire will maintain your strength. Like all the other survivors, Drifter has a trio of alternate abilities to unlock. But I won't spoil those for you today. You can discover them yourself when Risk of Rain Returns is released later this year. Now I'm going to hand over to Hopu Games composer extraordinaire Christodoulou for some insight into the production of the soundtrack for Risk of Rain Returns.
Hey guys, my name is Christodoulou and I'm the composer for Risk of Rain Returns. I'm a video game composer for almost 10 years now, and in fact the original Risk of Rain was one of my very first projects back in 2013. When Hopu came to me with this idea of remaking Risk of Rain, I was very excited because it would mean that I would get to share that original music from 10 years ago with a brand new group of players, but also it would give me this rare opportunity to, revisit that musical world and actually expand on it. So the development of pieces in Risk of Rain games, what I do is I tend to focus on the macro level, the form of the piece and the sonic palette of the piece, and in fact the entire soundtrack. Give the player a sense of awareness, a sense of excitement to explore, to keep on fighting, and hopefully inspire some awe and even fear for the unknown of this, this unknown planet. How I try to achieve this is by utilizing these long-form compositions in which I essentially try to tell a little story, have a little narrative arc, as abstract as that may be because we're talking about music. Now, when it comes to the practical things, usually I tend to lay down some main motive or decide on some drum beat or something like that, like a core thing that will be the foundation of the track, and then build a harmonic world around that, and then build a melodic world on top of that. And usually while I do tend to have a form in mind, I'm very open and let the composition take me to where it wants to go, because sometimes it deviates from my own original plan, and I just, let it go there, and that usually is how it's done. Deciding how we will treat the original soundtrack was a discussion that we had with Hopu, and at the end we figured that it would be best to just take the soundtrack as it is and bring it into the game. The original players would appreciate that, and the new players are not familiar with the soundtrack, so it's already new to them, so there's no point in going and doing changes arbitrarily. The only cosmetic, so to speak, change that has happened is a touch of remastering, and that has happened for two reasons. One is to bring the tracks into modern day standards and to at the same time match them with the new material that is coming into the game, but also to some degree correct some, let's say, less informed mastering choices that have been made in the past. Some people will not even notice, some people that will notice hopefully will find it an improvement, but other than that, musically the tracks have not been touched. It was a very interesting challenge for me to write new music for the game. I had to put myself into a frame of mind and conditions in which the original soundtrack was created. And I did that especially for the intro animation piece, which was then later expanded into a proper piece to be used in a boss fight within the game. It was really fun to do that. Use the old techniques, so to speak. For the other pieces, every one of them has a different story on its approach. We have a new menu theme, which is a variation of the original theme, but instead of having this mysterious vibe, now it focuses more on the adventure aspect, the exploration aspect. And then we've done something that hasn't been done before in the Risk of Rain music verse, so to speak, which is invite guests to create music for the game. So I invited my friend Damian Mravunac, who is the composer for Serious Sam series and the Talos Principle series, and I gave him one of the pieces and told him, here, take this and do a cover. And the cover he did is amazing and I love it, and brings the original piece under a brand new light, which I enjoy very much, and hopefully you will too. And then a very special collaboration with Greek singer-songwriter Maria Papageorgiou. I told her, do a cover of this piece, and then I took her cover and sort of remixed it, and then we worked on it together to finalize it. And this is a special track because it's something that is very unique sonically for the Risk of Rain music verse. I'm very, very excited to share it with you and see if you like it. Well, this is a question that should be addressed to the players, I guess, but to the degree that I can think of an answer, I would say the reason is exactly because we're doing these long-form compositions which have a little story of their own, and that story superimposed on the game's lore, but most importantly on the individual player's narrative at the moment that they are playing. The experience is very, very much tethered. So I think that, you can be on the same level and fight the same enemies, but the piece of music that plays can be in a very, very different point, a very dynamic, like an uplifting solo, or you can be at the intro, and this will paint a very different light over your actions, in opposition to, having a 1-minute loop that just plays over and over and eventually fades in the background. Instead, this creates very, very strong connections and powerful moments which are memorable for the players. And I think that's part of the reason why the music resonates with the players. Hopefully, the other reason is that the music is good, at least to some degree. As far as future music is concerned, particularly within the video game realm, there are a couple of projects in the works right now. One is the new Hopu project, which is something that I'm very, very excited about because it's going to be so different from what we've done in the past, and I really can't wait to dive into it and start writing for it. And the other is something that, most of you might be a little bit more familiar with. And with that, I'm gonna wrap it up. I just want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you who has expressed, kind words and appreciation for the music of Risk of Rain. It really means the world to me, more than you know. I really, really hope that you enjoy the new music that we bring into the game. And if you're a brand new player, the original music that has been there since 2013. And that's it, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thanks again everyone for your continued support. All of us at Hopu Games are very excited for you to play Risk of Rain Returns soon. In the meantime, don't forget to join our Discord and follow us on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube or TikTok to keep up to date with the latest on the game. All of the links are down in the description. In the next Dev Thoughts, we'll be taking a look at the final new character dropping into Risk of Rain Returns. Bye for now.